Well, the reason he was whispering is because he just had surgery. And...
Like on his throat?
No, on his anus. So I'm like, nowhere near. He's... Welcome, everybody, to the Bob and Katie Show.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Bob.
So how was your day?
It was a day. Work, home, kids, food, poop.
Your poop or their poop?
Their poop.
Yeah, there was a lot of it today.
With all the stress I've been having, my poop's been kind of, ugh. Is that too much?
Too much.
Too much.
TMI, Bob. TMI.
Well, that's what we're here for. To give people TMI.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
What about you? You got any TMI for me? Anything fun happen?
Riley brought me a booger today. His booger.
Okay, I was going to ask. I was like, is it his booger?
And I was so proud. He picked it all by himself.
I think we definitely have people. I know that we have people that listen to our show that are not parents. And they might think, why would you be so proud of that?
Because he did it himself.
Well, I think what some people don't know is that when you have tiny babies and their nose gets stopped up, they don't know how to blow it. They don't know how to pick it. So you got to take care of all of that. But I think the trouble is, and this is what we're going to go through, when they start picking their nose, it's going to be hard to get them to stop.
But he didn't eat it, so
he brought it to you. That was good.
He brought it to me, so that I was really proud. Like, I was so proud of him in that moment. I was like, "Oh, you picked it all by yourself," and he was smiling like he was proud of himself. And then I asked him, I was like, "Well, do you have any more in there?" And he, stuck his little finger up his nose, and I guess he was good. I was like, I know that some people may be grossed out by that boogers. They don't bother me. As long as nobody's eating them, that completely crosses the line.
Boogers don't bother you, huh?
But I mean, I've had to pick their boogers plenty of times. So it doesn't bother me, but I was really proud. Man, speaking of boogers, when I have to tell the story because it's disgusting and it's disturbing, but I have to say it. When my sister was in the hospital, she had just had her son, our nephew. I'm like,
you have me on the edge of my seat right now. I have no idea where this is going.
Well, this was 5 years ago. I remember I was there at the hospital with her. It was like the day after he was born, and a nurse came in, and they're talking about things, and the nurse was telling my sister this story. I think she was making sure she knew how to use the little bulb syringe, the little blue snot sucker thingy that you use with babies. The hospital, they'll send you home with one, and they're always those blue rubber ones. She was making sure that my sister knew how to use it so you can suction their nose. And she was saying that they had a lady that had a baby there at some point.
Sure.
And I guess she couldn't figure out how to use the syringe thing. And so the woman, she needed to suction her baby's nose out.
Uh-huh.
And so she put her mouth over the baby's nose and sucked it out with her mouth.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
It was like, I was in the room. When she was telling her this, and I was like, oh my God. Oh, that's disgusting.
It is disgusting, but it seems like it could be really dangerous. Cause I mean, like if you've used one of those, and like, if you were to try to suck the booger out of someone's nose, you would do it so much harder than one of those things because they're not that powerful.
I don't know. I was like, really? That was easier than using the syringe? I mean, it's fairly easy to use.
That was probably so traumatic for that child. That child's in therapy right now.
Poor baby. Yeah, but I mean, hey, that's mom life. You do what you gotta do, take care of your kids. That woman was doing what she felt like she had to do at the time. More power to her. There's going to be a woman listening and they're like, oh, I sucked snot out of my baby's nose with my mouth. I didn't think that was weird at all.
There's no way they're talking about me. Oh, I'm here to tell you, it's you. You're the one we're talking about, you crazy lady. Stop sucking on your baby's nose.
Oh, so,
learn how to use that syringe.
So that was my day, not sucking boogers out of babies' noses with my mouth, but, Riley brought me a booger. It's exciting times.
I have another gross story that you haven't heard. I have 2 stories tonight. People that don't do podcasts, let me tell you something. It's difficult to do to start with. It's a fun process and I love it, but it can be very difficult. The first thing is you have to find someone that you can have a conversation with and enjoy it. And I have that with you.
Why, thank you.
The problem is...
I'm so flattered.
The problem is, I don't have a whole lot of stuff to talk about that you don't already know about. That's what makes...
True that, Bob. True
that's
that.
what makes the Bob and Katie show a little bit different and more difficult than a lot of other podcasts. There's not too much about me you don't know. But tonight I actually have 2 stories that I'm going to tell you that you don't know about.
I know, this is mind-blowing. I can't wait.
Well, the first one is something
I've heard all your stories.
The first one kind of doesn't count because it's something that happened to me recently, and I just hadn't told you yet.
Okay.
And it goes along the whole disgusting stuff that we were talking about.
Oh, God.
I had a friend, and he gave me permission to talk about this, so it's cool. He comes up, nobody's going to know who it is. He comes up to me.
Have I met this person? Do I know it? Are you going to tell me who it is later?
I'll tell you off mic. He comes up to me.
You got to tell me who it is. You can edit it out.
So the guy walks up to me, and he goes, he like leans in, gets real close, and goes, Bob, I got to tell you what happened. And there's really nobody near us, so I'm like, okay.
If this is starting out with a dude whispering in another dude's ear, and like there's nobody, I can only imagine what is going to follow.
Well, the reason he was whispering is because he just had surgery, and
like on his throat?
No, on his anus. So I'm like nowhere near. He's whispering because I think he's embarrassed, you know? He don't want people to hear what he's getting ready to talk about. I think he had like some kind of like hemorrhoid surgery.
Oh, but it's not physically causing him to whisper.
Wouldn't that be?
You're like, yeah, he was whispering because he had surgery. So I'm thinking he's physically impaired to speak
hemorrhoid surgery
above
today.
a whisper. And you were like, yeah, he had surgery on this anus.
I had that anus surgery today, so my throat ain't working right.
Oh
No.
gosh.
He whispers because I think he's a little embarrassed, and he goes, "Well, I had hemorrhoid surgery," and that's what he leads in with. Like, I don't know what's going on. I didn't know that because I guess it wasn't a very like lengthy process. And I go, okay, and then there's just like that awkward like pause. And he
like,
goes,
was there previous knowledge?
No, not at all. Nothing. He didn't even say,
said
hey,
hemorrhoids?
He didn't even say, like, I got something to tell you. I mean, like, it was just like, I had hemorrhoid surgery.
It's like, I needed to tell somebody.
And then he goes, you're not going to believe what happened when I woke up. And at this point, I'm like, he has my full attention. The only way I would have any more attention in his direction if his hands were around my throat. There's nothing else that could possibly happen to draw me away from this conversation. He goes, the doctor looks at me and he goes, hey, the surgery was well. And, while you were out, I went ahead and cut that skin tag off your face.
Nuh-uh.
How is that okay? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
he wasn't even in that general vicinity.
No, he wasn't.
I hope they didn't use the same knife.
Like, I got a little tiny one right here. I call them old marks. Cause I started getting that when I started getting old.
Yeah, I've recently acquired a few of those myself.
He had one on his face, and the doctor's like, I just went ahead and got rid of it for you. Isn't that kind of messed up?
I mean,
I just want to be like, wait, did you use that same knife you had my anus?
Well, that's, see, on the one hand, like, oh, that's really nice. It's like, oh, I took care of it for you free of charge. No, you don't have to go back to the doctor, for a second visit.
Sure.
For a skin tag, okay? But he wasn't even up around his face.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
He was operating on his butt.
Well, that's
like,
what...
were they... So,
okay.
Did he just go on, like, a treasure hunt? Like, let me see if I can find something else.
They're doing the surgery, and, like, the guy's laying there, and he's like, I can't focus with a thing hanging off his face. We gotta go ahead and get rid of it real fast.
Like,
well, that's what I asked
like, did they scan him over? Like, let me just give him a once-over, see if there's anything else I can just...
Well, that's what I thought. And when I asked him that, the shock on his face, I go, well, did they use the same knife? And like, you should have saw the horror in his face.
That would have been my first question.
How did we even get on that? Oh, we were talking about disgusting things. Well, it's kind of a hard thing to do to transition from, hemorrhoid surgery into any other topic. So I'm just going to say, happy birthday, Mona.
And Kylie.
And Kylie?
Yeah, let me tell you.
We got a lot of people having birthdays today.
Obviously, when people listen to this, it's not going to be the same date.
Sure.
Today, it's March 11th, which is, it's been a very special date to us for a while now. My best friend, her youngest daughter, Kylie, was born. Today's her 6th birthday. So 6 years ago today, she was born. And then 2 years ago, on March 11th, we found out we were expecting twins, which is a day that will forever be ingrained in my memory, and I'm sure yours as well. And then it is also your Aunt Mona's birthday and numerous other birthdays. Like, I got on my Facebook today, and it's a very popular day for birthdays. And then we actually know a couple babies that were born today. And I'm like, holy moly, this is, like, I don't know, it's weird. It's a very popular birthday.
Well, I guess the first month of summer is June. Very popular month, if you know what I mean.
I suppose so.
I guess so, huh? Yes.
I suppose so.
We got a June coming up. This is all right. This is time to celebrate. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on today with June. Or not with June. I got June on the brain. I can't wait for June. Is that the
June
month
is very busy for us already.
Is that the month I get my cuddle in we talked about last episode? I get like 2 a year, right? Is that coming around in June?
I don't know. My birthday's in June.
Oh,
maybe
no cuddling
July.
In June.
Your birthday's in July. You can cuddle for your birthday if you want. I don't know. Oh yeah, so it's Kylie's birthday. I have to tell you really quick, like, side note about Kylie, because I love telling the story. It's so funny. The night before Kylie was born, I talked to Megan on the phone, and, you know, she was very uncomfortable, and she was basically telling me that she thought this baby was coming any moment now.
Sure.
And so, you know, I went to sleep that night. I was like, I think I was talking to her, like, as I was about to go to bed. And I was like, well, you know, if something happens, you know, just call me and let me know. I was supposed to work the next morning. So I was like, you know, just call me and let me know. Keep me updated. And I was like, yeah, you know, if somebody call me, I know you're going to be a little bit busy.
I was going to say, I wasn't going to try to interrupt you, but I'm going to be like, is she really going to call you?
No, I wasn't like, I better be the first one you called. No.
Don't worry about the ambulance.
No,
don't worry about your husband. You need to call me and let me know.
At the time, her mom was my boss.
Okay.
And anyway, I was like, tell somebody to call me.
Sure.
I'll find out through the grapevine. I don't know. Anyway, if you need anything, call me. I wasn't like, you know, you better have me on speed dial. Anyway, and then I went to sleep, got up, and I went to work the next morning. You know, first thing I checked my phone, I was like, okay, haven't heard anything from her. We'll be in the clear. I'll call later and check in on her. So I get to work, and later that morning, I get a phone call at work, and it's Megan. And I mean, she was completely calm, casual. And she was like, hey. I was like, hey. And I'm expecting to, you know, just say, how are you feeling? How are things going? And she was like, so I had the baby. And I was like, what? Are you okay? Is the baby okay?
In a cab? Like, what are you, did it happen just a few minutes ago? What's going on?
Like, I'm like freaking out.
Sure.
No, everything all was good. She had, you know, her water broke in the middle of the night, and, you know, baby came, and that was that. And she was like, yeah, so I had the baby. I mean, it was just like the most casual thing. Like
nothing in the world.
I was freaking out. I'm like, is the baby good? Are you good? Is everybody good? So I love telling that story.
She's like, yeah, I'm on the way home. It's fine.
No, and whenever I got off work that afternoon, me and you went out to the hospital and saw the baby. And I think Kylie was actually one of the first babies I ever held, like, you know, fresh out of the womb, like newborn. Because at that time,
that's scary when you hold a baby for the first time.
Babies, I mean, I was terrified. She has an older daughter, Kaden, and I'm not sure how old Kaden was when I held her for the first time. She may have been a month old, and I was still terrified. Yeah. I was like, oh, no, that's okay. I don't have to hold her. And Meg was like, here, hold her. And I'm telling you, babies terrified me. I was terrified. And so, yeah, I went to the hospital that afternoon. You know, here's Kylie, just a few hours old. And she's like, you want to hold her? And I was like, no.
No,
like,
no, thank you.
Oh, you have to. And I did. And I'm so glad I did. But I was scared to death.
It's funny how that works. Like, you know, our kids, they were premature, but I mean, like, it didn't matter a whole
My
whole
kids
bunch.
being 8 weeks premature and like hooked up to tubes and wires and all kinds of things, I was less scared to hold them than I was to hold Kylie when she was born, because I was just, babies scared me.
Well, I've held some babies in the past, but not like I did with ours, like not as young, not as fragile. And I was horrified the first couple times. Like, when the nurse went to do the kangaroo time, I was like, you got to put the baby on me. I'm not picking the baby up and bringing it over here. And I remember just holding them, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to break him. I'm going to break him. I'm going to break him. And it wasn't like 2 weeks ago, I was holding my son up by his leg. That's how things change with parents. It goes from like super crazy overprotective to, hey, are you eating dirt? Oh, that's fine, I guess. But it's insane. It really is.
So anyway, and we've been talking about Kylie's birthday. We're going to see him tomorrow for Kylie's birthday, and we're going to stay the night because they live a few hours away. So today I was packing. We're only staying one night, but to pack for the 4 of us, 2 of us being babies, I had to spend the whole entire day preparing. So I decided to pack the baby stuff first. Okay. Clothes and whatnot. And I have to get things out of their closet and out of their dresser drawers.
That's how we pack clothes and whatnot. That's when you're a parent. That's what it's just put any. Do you see something that's there? Just put in the bag. Hopefully, when we get there, it all works out.
I think there's like 8 outfits in there, and I'm like, surely there's going to be something they can wear. Just whatever. And I'm like, I open the closet, and immediately, just boom! As soon as I open the closet, both babies are there in the closet pulling things out, and I'm like, all right, guys, back up. And then I'm trying to get what I need to get. Make sure they're not pulling things down on top of their heads. Then
they're like closet vultures.
Yeah, they are.
I know what you're talking about. You open a door and these babies are trying to get it. There could be, I don't even know, like a monster inside of the closet, and they don't care. They know that that's open. It's normally not open. It's time to go in and see what's going on.
It's forbidden territory. So you open that door and they're like, oh my gosh.
Well, I thought, not to interrupt your story. We're just on it. I thought, the logical side of my brain, when I had that issue with the closet, I opened it and Reagan ran inside. I was like, what I'm going to do? I'm going to shut the door.
You locked her in the closet?
I didn't lock her in the closet, but I shut the door. And, she started not crying, but she was upset. So my thought was, okay, she got upset. I'll open the door and she'll come out. Nope. She would not come out. And I was like, okay, I'm going to close the door again. So I closed the door and she's, da. I open the door. She won't come out. I had to drag her out of the closet. I'm like, you obviously don't want to be in there.
Yeah. So I get what I need out of the closet.
DSS is going to knock on our door tomorrow. We heard you've been locking kids in closets here. Can we inspect all your closets, please?
Look, I swear it was only momentarily. No, I, usher 2 children out of the closet. I'm like, put everything back, leave it alone. You got to make sure all the little fingers and toes are out of the way. Close the closet door back. Okay. Well, then I need things out of their dresser. Once again, dresser drawers is forbidden territory. We have locks on their dresser drawers because
they pulled all the drawers out and was sitting in them with the clothes on the ground.
It got to the point I could not keep clothes in the dresser because they were constantly pulling them out. And after you have folded a bazillion pieces of teeny tiny baby clothing and put them away like 3 times in one day, you will lose your mind. You will lose it. So we put locks on their magnetic locks on their dresser drawers. So once again, it's forbidden. And I open those things. It doesn't matter where they're at in the room. They are there. They are there. And
what's in the drawer, Mommy? What's in the drawer? Is there something different that was in there yesterday?
Every time. One goes to one side, one goes to the other side, and they're peeking over the side, and they just grab things. They just grab it and pull and grab it. They don't care. They don't care what it is. They're so fascinated with clothes. Sometimes whenever I get them changed, I'll throw their dirty clothes in front of their bathroom door because their hamper's in the bathroom, and I'll toss it over there, and then when I go in there, I'll take their clothes and put them in the hamper. Let them find an article of clothing laying on the floor, and they will have a party. They just walk around flapping it. Like, I don't know what the fascination is. They just like to flap it. So they're standing at this side of the dresser and they're just grabbing, just blindly, so there's 4, I only have 2 hands and there's 4 little hands grabbing at things. So I'm like trying to just grab stuff out as quick as I can.
And they're at the corners of the drawers pulling stuff up like a magician in a crappy carnival pulling napkins out of like a box.
Like the handkerchiefs that just keep coming. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. And you can't just quickly shut the drawer because there's 20 little fingers in the way.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure you move them all.
And I tell you what,
and you move some fingers and then more fingers appear.
We've learned our lesson, I think, about the stuff they play with. As new parents, we're like, oh, we want them to have the cool toys and this and that and the other. And we have multiple toys that, like, baby toys are not cheap. Like, I know there's a toy in there right now we pay $30 for. And if you put that toy in the middle of the room and a pair of pants on the ground, they're going to go play with the pants.
Are you kidding me? They go after dirty diapers.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times whenever I'm changing diapers, I'm changing both of them, one right after the other. So I'll change the one, and if I lay down that dirty diaper, after I roll it up, they think it's so funny to get it and like try to unwrap it.
That's because we panic. I think that's what it is. Like,
it's like a fun game. It's like
they don't want the diaper as much as they want to see us like panic. Like, oh, when I touch this, Daddy throws up on the ground. So
is that what it is?
I think so.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, all the toys they have in their room, they'd be happy with a dirty diaper. Wipes, oh Lord, if you leave the wipe container where they can get to it, ooh, it's a wipe party all over that room.
Once again, little magicians.
Oh, I mistakenly left the tube of A&D ointment within their reach one day. And I came out of the room, and a few minutes later, I came back to check on them.
Because they were quiet, I would imagine. They were not making any noise.
Yeah. And they had A&D rubbed on the walls, in their hair, on their clothes, on the carpet. I mean, within moments, they got it down off the shelf where I had laid it down. It was just within their reach and had an A&D party.
Yeah, when you have small children, there's only 2 points of the day that they're quiet. They're either asleep or in trouble. So they're sleeping or they're doing something wrong. Cause them babies they're loud. Them little 17-month-old people are loud.
I was in the shower the other day and I take a shower. They're still awake. What?
Did you cut your nipple again?
No.
Okay.
Hopefully that was the first and last time. First and last for that. No, I was in the shower and they were playing in their bedroom. Baby gate's up. It's baby proof. I'm taking a shower and I have the door open so I can hear them. And I hear like just banging on the wall. And I'm like, oh, hell. And then you have that moment. And I'm sure other people have these moments too. Other parents. You're in the shower and you hear something. You know your kids are doing something and you're like, is it worth me jumping out the shower wet, running in there to see what's going on?
Where there's no screaming,
or like,
right?
Yeah, like...
they're fine.
No, it was just banging. It was loud banging. And so I'm in the shower and I'm like, do I get out? I was like, nobody's crying.
It'll be all right.
They're probably fine. Let me just hurry up and finish.
Like, and at this point, there's somebody in the apartment below us just staring at the ceiling, twitching.
Oh, God, our neighbors probably hate us. I get finished, get a shower, and I come in here to see what it is, because it's still happening. I was like, they are doing something. Riley was in my rocking chair, and it's over in the corner of the room. He is in the rocking chair, and he's like standing up, and he's slamming the back of the rocking chair into the wall.
Holy crap. And
Reagan was behind the rocking chair, in between the rocking chair and the wall. But she was, I guess, low enough where... It wasn't hitting her, thank God. She was just giggling. She thought it was so funny. And he's just bam, bam, bam. I was like, oh my God.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure our neighbors really love us. I took the kids out on the balcony the other day because it was nice and warm outside.
Mm-hmm. I saw the pictures.
And I put up the little baby corral on the balcony because I was scared they would go to the railing and just start throwing toys over. So I'm like, I'll try to keep them, contained within the corral. And so they go out there and they start just squealing. I mean, just screaming. But, you know, like a fun squeal. And when one of them starts doing that, the other one always chimes in. And so both kids are out on the balcony just screaming. And I'm like,
time to go in.
I think it's time to go back inside, kids. Like, we live in an apartment complex.
What are you going to do?
Our kids were meant to live in the country, I guess.
Okay, so we're at about the halfway point. So why don't we take a quick break and try to pay the bills a little bit? So our episode today is brought to you by Millie and Cupcake, Cupcake's Babies. This is a children's book by, how do you pronounce her name? Mildred Potash? Potash?
We'll go with that. Potash. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. I'm sorry.
You can, why don't you guys do this? Go to Barnes & Noble and search Millie and Cupcake. Take a look at the name and let us know what you think. I probably could just ask her. Don't you think?
Probably, yeah.
You know me. I always don't put enough into these things before I do them.
I know. Men. It's a man thing. Man does not think about details. No, men are not detail oriented like women are.
We're really not.
Most of the time. That's for another topic though. Millie and Cupcake sounds really cute though. We haven't read this book, but it sounds really cute.
I'm actually expecting a copy of it for us to read to Reagan and Riley.
It sounds really cute.
But Millie is a little girl and she's got a little pet rat. Not like calm down, it's okay. It's okay, I know, it's okay.
It still sounds cute. I could never have a pet rat. Even though, like, I'm an animal lover, but, like, rats gross me out.
I see it. I see the bumps on your arms. It's not like the rats, like on that show we watched the other day, the Hoarders with the little rats running around. It's more like,
oh god,
it's more like Disney, like Ratatouille. It's like cute little rats, if you can.
No, the artwork looks really cute.
But
it does look. I want a copy and I want to read it to my kids.
And we're gonna get it. The storyline basically is her pet rat has babies, and Mama says you can't have all these babies. Right?
Does the book go into detail? Like, where do baby rats come?
No, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. Is this book going to get real gross real fast? Nah, it's not going to do anything like that. But she has to get rid of the baby, so she wants to give it to friends, and then that's where she runs into, like, the conflict of the story. Like, some of her friends have cats.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a bad thing. And then there's this other one little boy that's just like, oh, rats are dirty, which, you know, I guess you can understand that. And she has to, she basically explains in the story how important it is to have that relationship between a person and a pet.
Oh.
And knowing the right pet for you. So it's a good story.
It sounds so good. It sounds really good.
But we're going to get a copy and we're going to read it and then we'll give you guys a little review on it. What else?
Where can you find the book?
BarnesandNoble.com. You can also find it at theauthorsden.com. I didn't say www.
Good.
I'm learning. But go check it out. It's Millie and Cupcake, Cupcake's Babies by Mildred and however you think you pronounce her last name.
So this is a sequel.
This is a sequel. The first book is Millie and Cupcake.
Go check out Millie and Cupcake.
Tell them Bob and Katie sent you.
I don't think Barnes & Noble works that way.
No, they don't work that way? Well, we're not sponsored by Barnes & Noble.
You're going to send somebody, they're going to go into Barnes & Noble, like, excuse me, I'd like to purchase this book, and, by the way, Bob and Katie sent me. And they're going to
immediately respond and go, that's nice. But do you want to sign up for the Barnes & Noble club thing that we have going on? They get you 15% off, and they do that to me, and I'm like, I only come here like once a year. I came here to buy Christmas Vacation for my wife. That's where I got you that movie this year, because that's the only place I could find it.
That's so weird.
What else we got going on? You can go to, while we're on this little kind of subject right now, you can go check out our website, thebobandkatieshow.com. I want to say
you almost said www.
So bad I want to say it. We're on Facebook. And then, most importantly, we're on patreon.com, which, there's a link on our Facebook page. You can go do that and become a subscriber. And that's simply, going, hey, Bob and Katie, we dig your show. Here's a little tip, little $1. Or if you're rich, you can give us $1 million. Whatever you want to do, it's really up to you. Yeah. You know, we'll take whatever. I'm not choosy. Not choosy at all. Do you want to answer a question from a listener?
Do we have questions?
We do. Well, just one.
Okay.
But I thought it was kind of cool.
Is it from Tim?
It's not.
Oh.
It's not from Tim.
Oh, is Tim mad? We never answered his 60 questions.
We got to do that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We didn't have time that episode that we were recording that night, and we need to go back.
We wouldn't have time in 3 episodes. There were so many questions.
And if we spent a minute answering each question, it would be an hour. We talked about nothing else. But we need to do that. Well, we really do. Because there were some good questions on there.
Well, this is actually from a guy named Andrew from England. He's one of our newer listeners. And,
Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Andrew. Should we say his name weird? And then what we do with people from England?
Hey, Andrew. What's up?
Hey, Andrew. But,
we's over here in the States.
From what I can tell,
that's not how I talk. Like, that was hard for me.
They know how you talk. They've been listening. If they're this deep into the episode, they've been listening. They know how you talk.
Oh, man.
But, from what I can tell, he's been slamming through the episodes. So I'm pretty excited.
Oh.
But anyways, he sent us a question.
All right, then. What is Andrew's question?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think we're going to be able to appropriately answer the question.
Oh, my goodness.
This is his question. He actually mentions Tim, believe it or not.
Like, you really, this is not the Bob and Katie and Tim show, but we love Tim. We love Tim.
He said,
Tim is definitely a part of us.
He said he was listening to episode 23, and we mentioned that most of our questions came from Tim and JT, and I think that's why he asked us a question.
Is this a pity question?
It might be.
Pity question, Andrew?
It might be a pity question, but we'll take it. And he says, assuming
right.
both of us have watched James Bond movies, who is your personal favorite actor who has portrayed Bond, and why?
Well, we probably shouldn't assume that we've seen all the James Bond movies, because I, for one, have not.
How many have you seen? Maybe like one?
No, I've seen more than one. I've seen a handful, but definitely not enough where I could answer this question. Truthfully.
Didn't we watch a James Bond movie in our car one time?
We did. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was a long time ago. I had that little like cheap portable
We had a portable DVD player, and we got pizza, and we sat. That's when we lived with your parents, and we're like, "Oh, let's go have like a movie night, you know, by ourselves." And we sat in the car. Why are we telling people about this? Like, we sound so lame. We're like, Bob and Katie are losers.
Somebody just went, we really need to go to Patreon and give them $1.
Like, maybe they should have went to the dang movies. Come on. No, we sat in our car. Was it Casino Royale?
I think it was Casino Royale. And to this day, I honestly, I can't even tell you what the movie's about.
I think we turned it off.
And
we're not one to really turn off many movies. Like, even a crappy movie, like, we'll usually follow it through. It's very few movies that we turn off, and that was one of them. I was like, I couldn't get into it. I couldn't.
I think I remember thinking it was okay, but yeah, I didn't get into it that
And
well.
I thought it was Daniel Craig that played James Bond.
It was.
I liked him as James Bond, because what was the one before that?
You're upsetting everybody, because I don't think anybody really liked Daniel Craig. Maybe they do.
Well, I
don't know. That's the problem with the question. I don't know, yeah.
I haven't seen a whole lot of them, so I just don't know. I've seen like one of them with Sean Connery. I don't remember which one, but I liked it. I've seen, I think, a couple with Pierce Brosnan, and he was okay. And then I've seen, I think, 2 with Daniel Craig. That's all the ones I can remember that I've seen. I can't remember. It's been like, not something I've followed through with.
Well, if I had to pick my favorite, given the fact that I haven't really watched a whole bunch of them, I'm going to have to go with Sean Connery. And not even so much it was his performance in James Bond, just because I like Sean Connery. Especially in First Night. That movie was amazing. Can you do a Sean Connery impression?
No, I cannot. I can't do impersonations. I'm horrible at it. So
there you go, Andrew. It's probably not.
I'm sorry, that was not spectacular.
Yeah. not the answer and conversation you were hoping for.
We probably definitely lost coolness points on that question, especially telling people about us watching movies in our car.
How about we try to bounce back with some Bob O'Clock news?
All right.
Yeah, you want to do that?
Try to redeem ourselves. I feel the need to go watch some James Bond movies now. Well,
we got to go to bed.
So I can answer this question truthfully.
Why don't we do that just for Andrew? Between now and...
That's a big commitment.
Not a lot of them. This is what we'll do.
There's how many James Bond?
No. This is what we'll do. Sometime in the next couple episodes, because we don't ever have time for anything. We'll just randomly pick a James Bond movie, watch it, and just give it a little review. What do you think? It could be a little, we'll just be like, we didn't like it, and move on. But we'll do it just for Andrew. Alright, so, let's do some Bob O'Clock news.
Alright then. Welcome to the Bob O'Clock News.
And we're going to stick with the same little question and answer thing because I'm getting a lot of good feedback about that. The story I found this week is about a man who got arrested in an airport. And I'm going to let you figure out why
Oh, good grief.
he got arrested.
You could get arrested for so many things in an airport.
Oh, yeah, but there's only a few that'll end you up on Bob O'Clock News. So it's your job to figure out why he was arrested.
Okay. All
Was
right.
it
Give me
A,
my options.
for pointing a gun at people, and when he pulled the trigger, a flag came out with the words "bang" on it?
Oh my gosh.
B, for harboring a snake in his cowboy boots?
There's a snake in my boot.
I didn't even put that together.
How did you not put that together? Like
That's
the world's biggest
amazing.
Toy Story fan, and you're like, he had a snake in his boot. How did you not?
Oh my gosh, that's great. Okay. Or
Someone
C,
poisoned the water hole.
or C, standing in line to buy tickets with no clothes on. No comments on that.
I have so many questions about that. Like,
Do you want 2 this week per answer?
no.
No,
I
you
don't-
just want to stick
I
with
don't- I
the
don't
original
really-
one?
Like, standing naked in the ticket line. Like, how?
Well, let's go back
Where did
to...
he park? Where did he have to come from? How far did he have to go just to get to the ticket line? Then nobody stopped him. So you know what? I'm going to rule that one out. That's not it.
Okay.
Because I don't know how big the airport was that he was in, but if he was in line to get a ticket, like,
Is that going to be your question? What airport?
I feel like he would have gotten stopped at some point.
It was a Tennessee airport.
Well, that doesn't,
I don't think it really does anything for us.
that
though.
doesn't help me. I'm sure Tennessee probably has big airports and small airports.
So let's go with let's go back to A, pointing a gun at people, and when he pulled the trigger, a flag came out with the word "bang" on it.
I think that's a very valid option because they do take guns very seriously in
Yeah.
airports.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
I don't know. I don't have. I don't. What
You've
was?
got to get a lot better at this.
What am I
I don't
supposed
know.
to
What do
ask?
ask anything.
Where do you get one of those? How about that? Where do you get one of those clown guns that say?
That was not in the article, so I have
Dang.
no idea.
So that's what I want to know. Like, is there like a clown supply?
Do you want me to
store?
Google that real quick? Will
Like
that make you feel better?
Like, you know what? You could. It's the internet. You can probably buy off it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Amazon probably sells them or something like that. So,
Probably on eBay.
all right. What was this other one again?
He had a snake.
Oh
in
yeah,
his
snake in
boots.
his boot.
God.
Look, I want to pick that one just because of Sheriff Woody. In the name of Sheriff Woody, I'm going to make that my answer.
You're gonna make that your
He
answer.
had a snake in his boot.
Well, darling, he did not have a snake in his boot. And what's
Was it
funny?
the gun?
And what's funny? We'll get there.
But stop talking to Siri and talk to me.
It was an accident. I didn't mean to. What's funny is that one of the answers is true, and the other 2 I made up. So I made up.
So you made up. You was subconsciously.
Isn't
You
that
were
weird?
subconsciously
Putting snakes in boots.
channeling your inner
Toy Story.
Toy Story, Woody, and
I promise to you, it never crossed my mind that it was
I don't
Toy
even
Story.
know how that's possible. It was definitely subconsciously. You were thinking about
snake in his boot.
You were thinking about Woody.
And the reason that I know he didn't have a snake in his boot is because he wasn't wearing boots or shoes
He was naked at the
or
ticket
clothes.
counter. Really?
He was
How
naked.
did that happen? How?
Oh.
How did that happen?
Let me read you some of the highlights from this article because it's got some pretty funny stuff.
And why? Why was he naked? Were all his clothes packed in his luggage?
Well, the only thing that the article tells us, I don't think the Nashville International Airport is letting any information out. Like, they're not letting a whole lot of information out. But here's the best part. These comments are from like people that were there, witnesses. And one guy says the most amazing thing to him was there were a couple of people that just, their mouth was dropped open like a gasp. But for the most,
gape?
agape. But for the most part, everybody just went about their business like nothing was wrong.
There's only two ways to react if you see a naked man in the airport. You're either going to freak out, go, oh my God, it's a freaking naked man in the middle of the airport, or you're going to go, oh, just don't look, it's a naked man, just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't just semi-react to a naked man in public. There's no, like, in between. You either, like, just don't look away, ignore it, or you're going to freak out.
Did I ever tell you that I saw okay, I'll try to be as cool with this story as possible because it's a little graphic. I went into a Dollar Tree one day and I go walking around one of the aisles and I saw a man and he had his personal bits out and was
in the middle of the dollar store?
Yeah. And he was,
oh, that's classy.
He was doing things with them in the middle of the Dollar Tree. And, I'm not going to say anything to him. You just walk away because obviously there's something wrong. You know what I mean? Like he's not like me.
That's what them people in the airport were singing. Like this man is naked. He's not in the middle of an airport.
He's not like you. There's something wrong. So, I actually tried to be somewhat of a hero. I walked up to the counter where a girl was working and I said, hey, and I told her what I saw and I was like, maybe we both need to just get out of here for right now. And she leans in and she goes, I already called the cops. So she was up there being cool, calm, and collective. So like I was really impressed with her. But yeah, the cops came and all else that happened to me. It was in, should I say where it happened?
No.
Okay. It was in a Dollar Tree.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. How does that happen? Like what
you always see the naked people.
Whoa.
No.
Whoa.
There has been so many times where you're like, you've seen accidental public nudity, or in his case, it wasn't an accident, but you know what I mean? Like, you're like, I don't know. I can't even think of
I do
like you saw the girl fall down in the parking lot when you were driving by.
Oh,
and she fell over the median and like.
Her lady bits went up in the air.
Yeah. Like it was an accident. You didn't mean to see it. You were just like, I don't know that anything that has ever happened to me, but you have several stories where like, you've seen things like that. And how does that happen?
I saw a lady one time. I was downtown Wilmington and me and a friend were walking and she was up in front of us and her arm fell off.
Like, did she have, it was like
a prosthetic arm, but we didn't know. All we knew is that we were walking behind
and her arm just fell
and
off.
her arm fell off and hit the ground. Thump.
Oh, that poor lady. Oh my gosh.
And the guy I was with laughs out loud, very hard, very noticeably. Well, he didn't care. Like, he was one of those people, like, he didn't care. And I'm just like, oh my God, please stop. Please. I thought I was more embarrassed than the lady whose arm fell off.
Oh my gosh.
Well, there's one more thing about this article that I wanted to tell you. Airport officials said, I can't even say it without laughing. He has been seen, this is what they said, he has been
seen
walking around the outside of the airport with no clothes on, but he's never come inside before. So there's a problem.
So he just hangs out naked at the airport.
Yeah. And apparently he had been arrested a couple years before for this.
I guess he finally decided to come in and buy tickets somewhere.
As an airport, like, when do you finally go, okay, somebody get rid of the naked man? Because obviously he's just walking around outside the airport naked, and they're like, well, you know, he's not really coming inside. It's okay. But then he came inside, and they're like, all right, well, he's trying to buy tickets now. He doesn't have any clothes on. We're going to have to get rid of this guy. Apparently he was only making a couple people uncomfortable because everybody else was like, I'm in it.
So somebody calls security, and, you know, security comes down, and they're probably like, it's old Joe again. He finally decided to come inside.
Buddy, I don't know where you're going to pull that wallet out of to pay for these tickets, but I'm not touching it.
Oh, you know, at least he wouldn't hide nothing. I mean, he couldn't hide anything. Yeah.
Once again, there's something wrong. You know, like normal people don't do that.
All the crazy things that go on in an airport.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that stuck out for me.
We had an incident. I don't know if we probably shouldn't talk about this.
I know exactly what you're going to talk about. No, we can talk about it because it seems bad in your mind, but it's really not. Okay.
You know exactly the story I'm talking about.
Oh gosh, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. We flew on a plane that was your first time flying, right?
No, I had been on a plane before.
It was my first time flying on a plane. We went to Dallas to see the Cowboys play and they won. I remember sitting in the stadium going, man, if I flew all the way across the country and these guys lose, I'm going to be so mad. But they won. But that's not what we're going to talk about. We were on the flight back, right? We were getting ready to fly back.
We were flying there.
So this happened on
the way there, we were in the airport in Raleigh, and we were about to leave to go there.
I'm sure everyone remembers, the incident in New York with the Twin Towers.
9/11.
9/11.
You say it.
Everything. Well, I'm trying. I'm trying to dance around the subject. Like the reason you said you didn't want to talk about it. Basically, this is what happens.
Here we are talking about inappropriate things.
Yeah. The media takes.
We always go there. I swear we do.
I'm going to do it. The media takes things and they blow it up, right? So when you think about...
The media didn't blow this up.
No, but when you think about everything that's going on in the world, people blowing things up, it wasn't. I'm trying to ignore it, but you're like, we're going to leave. It's fine. When you think about 9/11, typically, and you don't mean to do it, it doesn't mean anything, you think about a person with, from...
Over there.
Yeah, over there. It's insane how nervous I am talking about this.
People are going to think we are racist.
We're not racist.
We're not.
You know what? I'm going to rip it off like a Band-Aid. We were in the airport and
we were both nervous. Yeah. We were so nervous because I'd only flown one other time before, and this was your first time flying. Yeah. And we're sitting there and we're waiting to board our plane, and there is a man.
He sits down right in front of us.
And he is of a Middle Eastern, ethnic origin.
Yep.
And he's wearing a turban.
Yep.
And we just look at each other.
I said, I don't know. I want to go on this plane.
And I was nervous.
He had one small bag and it was at his feet. I remember looking at it going, I didn't even want to sit there anymore. And it's really kind of messed up.
But it was I don't know. We looked at each other and then I kind of looked around at the people around us, and we were not the only uncomfortable ones. And this man, I'm sure he was probably a perfectly nice gentleman.
Yeah. But
you're in an airport, so your mind just automatically goes there. I mean, I'm sorry what happened to our country on 9/11. It was
traumatic.
It was traumatic to say the least. So It's like when you're sitting in the airport and you see someone of that origin, dressed that way, your mind, you cannot, I don't care how not racist of a person you are, your mind will go there. Even for just a split second, your mind will go there. And I could not help but think, I really hope he doesn't get on our plane. I was just already so nervous. And I could see it on the face of a few people sitting right there with us that, I'm sorry, we were alive and witnessed 9/11 and you can't help it. And I felt bad because I was like, I can't believe I'm judging
I feel
this
bad
man.
for him because that's his world. That's his, it's his religion.
Yeah.
It's where he's from. And, he has to deal with that.
It's horrible. He has to walk around with this stigma hanging over him. He didn't do it. He didn't blow up those towers. So I don't know.
Let me skip forward just a little bit.
Let's get off of this topic.
Well, I got one more thing I want to say about the whole airplane thing. For anybody who hasn't flown before, I taught myself a little trick because I was horrified of this whole situation. The plane will shake sometimes when you're in the air, and that makes you feel like you're fixing to die. Well, I learned to look around. You can see people on the plane that when you look at them, you go, they fly all the time. Mm-hmm. So every time the plane would shake or something weird would happen, I would look at those people.
If they're freaking out, then it's bad.
And if they're just they continue reading their book, I'm like, all right, we're cool. But if one of those people would have started to panic, I would have thrown up in the seat. I'm
not one of those people that could just fly all the time. It terrifies me.
No way.
It terrifies me, absolutely.
Well, I got one more thing I want to cover before we bounce out of here.
Okay.
You and I talked about this, and you were a little skeptical about it. But last episode, I put some music on the end of the podcast, and I messed up because I completely forgot to put in the podcast what that was about. Mm-hmm. So that was very unprofessional of me, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, I had no part in that. Just so everybody knows, I knew nothing about it.
What that was it was simply my brother and I wrote a song, and I threw it on the end. And I think we actually said something about it, but it got cut, and I didn't realize it. So that's what that was. Well, I had the idea that I'd like to feature some music every now and then on the end of the episodes. And where that comes from is I used to play in bands, and I figured we could use this medium as a tool to kind of help other people out. Just a simple, hey, I kind of dig your music. I'll let my people hear it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to kind of put, what are you doing? Why are you touching my laptop for? Am I boring you? You need to go doodle again?
No, you got mad at me for doodling.
Yeah, you're not looking at me. It's a really good doodle you did there, though. I like that. Well, the song that we're going to feature tonight, which is really the first song that we're featuring, because the one last time was just some of my stuff, is by a friend of mine named Hunter. And he started a new band or group. I'm not sure what you want to call it. And I really, really like it. I actually let you listen to it when we were driving the other day.
Yes, I really liked it too.
The group is called Synth Lord, and the song is called Love High. What I like about it is they really sound like a band from like the 80s. Like that weird, like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like almost like video game-ish. It's really, really cool, but I'm going to throw it on the end of the episode, as soon as the, credits roll or whatever it's called that you do in podcasting, the outro. But, you guys can check it out, and we're going to throw the links up to their video on our Facebook page. You can go look at it. You got anything else?
No, now that we've talked about locking our children in closets and, racism in airports, I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Pretty solid episode.
We've talked about boogers and, did we talk about poop this time? Cause
we mentioned it, I think. If not, we're covering it now.
We talk a lot about poop. I think
I got some on my knuckle again recently. I don't know how that keeps happening.
That sounds like a personal problem.
It was from the babies. It wasn't mine. You do have something else to talk about.
I do.
You told me about your dream. And when you told me, the dream was so good that I got mad that you told me. I was like, why would you not hold on to that?
You're going to have people wondering what in the world I was dreaming about.
So I want you to, tell me the dream again, and you got to share this with people because it's great.
So a couple days ago, you came home from work and you got home a lot earlier than usual, and I was exhausted. So you're like, why don't you go take a nap? Mm-hmm. I never take naps.
Nope.
So I was like, you know what?
The babies are taking a nap.
This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. The kids were taking a nap. I was like, I think I will. I'll go take a nap. And I slept for about an hour, and I actually had a dream. And as soon as I woke up, I had to tell you about this dream because it was so weird.
You told me immediately. It rolled over and was like, I gotta have this dream. It was
so weird. Okay, in my dream, you come home and you have this big box and you open it and it was a gun. Like, it was like a huge gun, like an assault rifle.
Yeah.
Like, it was huge. This wasn't like a handgun. It was
so it looked like a real gun?
Yeah, it looked completely real. And I was like, where did you get this gun? And you were like, don't worry, it's not real. And you start taking it apart. And you're like, look, it's hollow on the inside. And it came with popcorn.
It's an assault rifle.
Yeah,
with popcorn.
It was hollow. It was like it was made out of plastic.
Can I say something real quick?
And it came with popcorn.
Let me say something real quick. Let me say something. Copyrighted Bob and Katie Show 2016. Anybody out there starts making assault rifle popcorn containers, I'm like, that's Katie's idea, and we want half the profits because that is a killer idea. Like, people would buy that up. So you're taking out the box and you're like pouring the popcorn into it, and you're like, I'm so taking this to the movie theater. And I was like, you can't do that. You cannot walk into the movie theater with an assault rifle. You can't take the hollow gun to the movie theater.
You can't.
Oh, man.
And then I got mad at you because for anybody who knows you, you collect toys and comic books and things like that. And we live in an apartment. We don't have a lot of space. And I get on to you sometimes. I'm like, don't bring home any more toys. We don't have a room for like unnecessary things. Our apartment is full.
Necessary. And
so and in my dream, I got mad at you because I was like, you keep bringing home more toys. We don't have anywhere to put it.
And this one's going to get you killed. You can't go to the movie theater with a gun.
But yeah, and then I woke up. I got mad at you and I woke up and that was my dream.
That was a pretty awesome
dream.
You and
your hollow gun with the popcorn.
If the podcast doesn't work out, we'll venture into hollow gun popcorn holding.
Who knows? There could be a market. There could be a market for it.
We should eBay it. Or get on eBay and search and see if that exists or not.
If it does, it's going to blow my mind. How my brain came up with that in a dream, I don't know.
What are you going to do? Well, we got a busy day tomorrow, and it's 1:18 in the morning, so why don't we get out of here and get some sleep? Bye.
Bye.
Just a castaway, just a castaway. The only thing real is now. But I look away, and I lost you, and I lost you, and I lost you, and I lost you, and I lost you. I was